Pierre.
Welcome back to another early edition of the Hockey Nation Live Show. This is your hockey coach, Coach Frenchy, directly from the Sunshine State in Florida. And we have to go all the way to find a co-host, Michael Devellano from the West Coast, California.
You're in Calgary still.
I'm still Calgary. I was in Pittsburgh last night, but I did not channel on that site, on the StreamYard.
What's the arena? It's the Something Paint Center in Pittsburgh.
So which one?
The one in Pittsburgh is called Something Paint.
Oh, they changed the name, Pittsburgh. Yeah, but it's not the paint. The company for paint, the paint.
It still is?
I don't know. I think it changed, but I don't know.
So we can't keep track.
Yep.
That's an arena I haven't been to, but I'm sure it's very nice. All right, we might have a quiet morning. We put out the start time 6 minutes from now, but we do have Ryan Lomberg. What? Welcome, Ryan Lomberg. A member
Ryan
of the
Lomberg is going to be ready for the camp in the next couple of weeks.
Good.
It's a new one where maybe someone changed the name, but welcome, Ryan. Hopefully, you're going to subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show. And, of course, don't forget to click on the likes like everybody else. Please don't forget to click on the likes. We know it's going to be Friday, Michael. We know it's off. I think that's maybe one of the off season in NHL this week. Not many things happening overall. And, again, you can see also by other people in and out in the chat. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like usually it is, but that's normal. It's understanding. But we welcome, of course, Mr. Inner Tap directly from Toronto, Ontario, and Michael Rosenblatt between, course or whatever he's doing right now as a student. Don't miss your school for us. I'm at lunch right now. Oh, you lunch early. Mini Mike Lindell, welcome aboard. And
I think Mini Mike is a bot.
He's a New England Patriot.
Is he, or is he just a bot?
I don't know. So
I think Mike Lindell is the guy that has the My Pillow. He's telling everybody not to get vaxxed. I don't necessarily.
Otherwise, a lot of stuff happening around the league, and that's what happened.
Oh my! Chainsaw Man's here, Pierre.
Chainsaw Man directly from Montreal, Canada. Bienvenue ce matin, mon homme. And Ryan Lumber, Ryan Lumber is a part of the show this morning. Matter of fact, Michael, yesterday I got. Again, Mr. Hot Take Hockey was a part of the show last night.
Oh, good.
He participated to the quiz.
Did he? How did he do?
He left after 2 or 3, but, we have a kids, everything like that. But he's still with us, and I mentioned him. He was nice. He's still with us for about 10 minutes and overall. So it was pretty neat to have him around. And it was a good night last night. And, yesterday we have...
you're not going to learn much.
Mr. Loud Bunny win last night.
Yourself, Michael. Trust me.
So,
Michael, you'll learn more on YouTube.
Michael is a school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Learn more on YouTube.
Yep.
Take the initiative. Be a lifelong learner. School's not going to help you. All right. So we had this crazy drama. We kind of talked about it yesterday, but very briefly. And
look like you don't know you, but I'm going to do this for you because you don't know. The goaltender Henrik Lundqvist announced today his retirement as a goaltender professional hockey in NHL after 15 years with the New York Rangers with 459 W and 887 game in NHL retire. He announced today he's going to be retired after a press conference in Sweden, Michael. And so, secondly, he's the first goaltender, Michael, have the most W in NHL with one team.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really shocking last year when because he got signed somewhere, right? Was it Minnesota? No, not Minnesota.
So again,
who signed him last year?
Washington.
And and then he was out obviously with a heart condition, which was really kind of shocking. I know he wanted to try and make a comeback, but I guess he figured that's it. He was a great goalie and a real ambassador of the game. So I feel bad for him. It's not the way you want to go out, but what a great record and what a great goalie.
Yeah, like usually when you remember like goaltender for its friend organization, Montreal, Carey Price, Ken Dryden, Patrick Roy, what I mean? Like you go with New Jersey, Martin Brother, but when you go with New York Rangers, he's going to be one you're going to remember the most with
Absolutely.
Mike Richter, honestly. If you talk about Islanders, you remember more like Billy Smith, and that's the way he's supposed to be. And so pretty amazing. Like Michael, because I just did a video about this, going to be out after the show today, and
Right.
I start to do the video about the stat, everything on that. And a couple of weeks ago, Michael Picard René announced he's retired as a goaltender for the Nashville Predator. The stat, Michael, are similar, like almost
Yeah.
copycat. And I
Interesting.
believe right now both of them is going to be at the Hall of Fame in one day. So I'm really impressive about that journey of, honestly, of Henrik
It,
Lundqvist.
so Enertap says, where do you place him in the overall rankings? I don't know if I put him top. He's definitely not top 5. We'd
I'm
have
sorry
to
again.
kind of. Oh, so Enertap would say, where would you place Henrik Lundqvist on the all-time NHL rankings of goalies? Top 5, 10, 15, or 20? He might be in 20, but I think we'd have to make the list to find out. Maybe that's a good episode, Pierre. Oh,
Yeah. If you think about this, with 469 W, Michael, he's become one of the top 10 best winning in NHL, honestly. So I believe he will be the top 20. He have a good goal
top.
again average of 2.43, I believe. So it's really low, and so
It's interesting
obviously
that
he never
list.
won the Stanley Cup, but
Yeah, he made the final, but he might be top 20. He might be better than that. It'd be interesting to see for us to look because he was always very good. I'm trying to think if he was that good. I mean, all right, so take a look at this, Pierre. This is the list you're probably looking at. So this is what all-time wins. This is what you're talking about. And it's an interesting list, isn't it? Martin Brodeur and Patrick Waugh, you would expect up there.
unfortunately I'm stuck, Michael, so I cannot say
Oh, yeah,
anything.
you're kind of frozen.
Yeah.
So this is just all-time wins list, and it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of newer names on there, and that might just reflect the fact that these guys played for real good teams, but they were obviously great goalies. Martin Brodeur at 691 is kind of crazy. Patrick Waugh, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Roberto Luongo's 4th.
Yep.
So that's really interesting. Ed Belfour comes in at 5th.
Yep.
And then there's our guy, Henrik Lundqvist, Curtis Joseph at 7th. And then you've got legend names, right? Terry Sawchuk, Jacques Plante, and Tony Esposito. We don't see names like Glenn Hall. So there's no Grant Fuhrer in there. So that's really interesting. I don't know how you would rate this. Some of it might be
Well, like I said, he's going to be for sure for me in my book. Is a top 20 as a goaltender.
Yeah.
Need to go a little bit deeper to find out if he's like more like top 10, top 15. Honestly,
Brad Marchand's son is joining us. He's got to go soon. Everyone's sneaking in. No cup, unfortunately, right? Enertap that reduces his rank probably. I don't disagree with that. You got goalies like Corey Crawford. Does Corey Crawford make the top 20? The guy got 3 Stanley Cups. It's a hard one, right? Chris Osgood got a bunch of cups. Where's Dominic Hasek? Hasek's got to be one of the greatest all time. So I think we should do this exercise, Pierre, and come up with our own list for another episode, maybe next week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Pierre's frozen. I don't know. He's got like a storm or something in Florida.
Can you hear me?
Deceptive. I can hear you, but your face is a little bit delayed, like a lot delayed.
Yeah. I cannot do downloading my. I was doing like another downloading on the YouTube channel, and now look like my screen of the Google web browser.
They're limiting you, Pierre. They're censoring you already. All right, so that's really interesting. Well, it's unfortunate, but I guess at least he's not a young man. He's 39. He had a really great career, and we'll have to figure out like where he fits. All right, so the other crazy news. I don't know if there was Oh, this was interesting, Pierre. I wonder if our friend from Buffalo will show up, because the voice of the Buffalo Sabres, Rick Jeanneret, is retiring as the play-by-play announcer. Were you surprised at this? Long live the king. That's right. Frank Salazar has joined us. Unfortunately, Pierre's having some internet problems. So Rick Jeanneret, when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily love his style. I think it took me some time to appreciate it. When I was really young, I was like, this is crazy over the top. He had some, but you begin to appreciate it the more you watch. And this guy is a legendary broadcaster. He's known for kind of having like these crazy phrases that, let's see, we should Google this. Famous Rick Jeanneret announcement. I'm wondering if there's like a video here. There's top 10. Let's take a look at this. Hopefully we don't get banned for this.
Eichel, full steam ahead, gets in over the Washington line and dragged it right through it. Took a shot, he scores! Jack Eichel! Oh my, what a play! Coming soon to a theater near you. Sick Mitts, starring
Sick
Jack
Mitts.
Eichel. Brother. Panic tried to roll it back, but it's going to go out over the blue line.
Panic.
Gets it again and brings it right back in for Buffalo. Here's Panic walking in on goal. He scores! Oh my, what a goal! Panic just turned everybody inside out, upside down, up and go. And Buffalo wins it.
Wow, he's such a great announcer. Oh yeah, La Fontaine. I wonder if that's on there.
Snow is hanging on to the crossbar, and here comes Shields. Shields says, oh no, we don't. I want to get a little piece of this action, and Shields wants Snow. And there's Snow and Shields.
We're going to hit him in the head. Starts Snow.
Across the ice was May. Snow and
Mayday, that's right. Classic ones. There's some crazy ones when you start looking at it.
Shields firing punches.
They don't look like they're always.
They're having it right in front of the bench. Shields and Snow going at it. And everybody else is grumbling, and this crowd is
Oh, the
going
Devils. I
bananas.
haven't seen the Devils broadcaster.
Now the linesman will try
Frank
to
says that he
set
likes
up
the
goaltenders
Devils
again,
broadcaster.
and Shields wants some more.
All right. Let's go. I want to hear the Mayday one. This is too long.
There comes to the boards. Oates holding it in, taking away.
Oh, he's so great, Alexander McGillney.
Here's McGillney. He's going right at his shoot. He scores! Alexander the Great! And it goes up. Okay, right in front of him. It's a goal!
Love Alex. What? McGillney has such a weird shot, didn't he? I love McGillney, though. He was such a great player. He was one of my favorite players. He kind of ran on the ice, right, McGillney? And he changed direction. Yeah, we're going to see this one. God, this one keeps going on for a bit. Let's see. 6.
He's it there to Mogilny. Puts it in front of the net and Shelby's gone.
There we go. That's the one. Oh, he used it multiple times. I didn't realize that. No, he used it quite a bit. I didn't realize that. Pavlov, and he was so good. It was too bad. Concussions shortened his career.
Jason Woolley, the shot heard round the world.
Where's the Mayday one?
Heard round the hockey world. Like a hot knife through butter. Randy Wood ties it in 3.
Randy Wood, I forgot about him playing for them. Satan. The coup de grace. Oh, Finnegan, I forgot about that. Where's the... Oh, Ryan. Mother hides the cookies. Stu Barnes. You always made it entertaining. Ooh. Oh, Tim Connolly. Wow, I forgot about that. 3 goals in final game streak to get 50. Did Lindy Ruff get 50 goals? Wow, I didn't even realize. I would never remember that. You are a freaking monster. You're a nightmare in Augusta.
McGillney in over the Montreal line.
Lindy Ruff never got 50 goals. Are we talking about the same person? Yeah, Lindy Ruff had 20 goals in his best season. So he never had 50.
And cleared out to center ice to Pominville.
I forgot about Pominville. John Grega, thanks for joining us this morning. Coach Frenchy's got internet problems, so he fell off the broadcast. Pominville, we're just looking at Rick Jenneret, famous calls. Oh, that's all right. I was like, I don't think he ever had that. Lindy Ruff as a player couldn't decide if he was a forward or a defenseman. I mean, he was always back and forth. It's weird. Not many guys do that now, but. Derek Plant. This was like the Ted Nolan Koshik days. Oh, wow, goalies are different then. Who would have that? The only 50 goal scorers I knew were LaFontaine, McGillney, Rick Martin. All right, last one coming up here. Mayday, here we go. Oh, Danny Gare. Yeah, Danny Gare's great. He scored 50, that's right. Danny Gare played for Detroit for a while, too. Yeah, that was crazy. So hopefully we don't get bumped off for copyright there by the old YouTube machine. Let's see what happens. But it's pretty fun watching Rick Jenneret's announcement. So he's retiring. So Buffalo, what the heck? I wonder if our friend Kim and Terry Pagula shows up. Buffalo feels like they're in Never Neverland. Although, you know, they do have a lot of good young players coming up, but it's like another rebuild. It's crazy. And I don't have a lot of faith in this Owen Power pick. He just seems like he might be more of a problem in the future, but we're going to find out. But I think when you're a 2002 birth year and you go first overall with the 2003s, you better be ready to play in the NHL. Not like, I'm going back to college. Okay. And that guy's not going to get better in college. So I think they got another problem on their hands. All right, so the other big news that happened yesterday was about the Arizona Coyotes, and they get evicted. Now, we know that this has been like kind of a powder keg. And if you listen to Gary Bettman yesterday, and just in case you're not aware, they play in something called the Gila Arena. And this is a whole facility in Glendale, Arizona. It's on the wrong side of town. Like literally, this side of town is a lot quieter and older. Yeah, I thought that too. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. So the Gila Arena, Glendale's very strange. I think it's just like a very peculiar, older area. the facility, like the outdoor facility, is really cool. There's shopping and restaurants. But, they announced yesterday, the city of Glendale, that they're terminating the lease of the Arizona Coyotes. And if you listen to Gary Bettman, what he said was they were trying to force a 20-year agreement on the Coyotes. And we know that there's talk that they want to build on the right side of town because they have a real problem getting people to drive over to where the arena is. So they're always struggling for attendance and acceptance. What's interesting is in that area, they've done a very good job with the Junior Coyotes program. Like we've drafted players in Everett from the Junior Coyotes. They're a Tier 1 elite program. Shane Doan's son, who just got drafted the NHL by the Arizona Coyotes, I think too high, frankly. But Josh Doan, he played in Arizona, and Shane Doan has been very involved with that program. And they've generally done a very good job, and it's non-traditional hockey market. The Coyotes should move to Quebec. Yeah, Quebec needs a team. I have to say it would be really unfortunate if they left Arizona at this point, because what I would like to see after getting to know the people there and the junior, the Tier 1 program, they've done a really good job, and I think it's very helpful to develop players in that area for USA Hockey in general. And I think what I would like to see is that they move to Tempe. Tempe, Arizona is kind of where they're eyeing. I think that would get them closer to the college, and that would get them closer to where their actual fans are. And that would be the right move. But that's a big move, obviously. But now their hands being forced. You talk to Gary Bettman, he says they're not leaving Arizona. He also believes that this is a negotiation tactic by the Gila Arena. I'm not sure about that. This has been looming over them for a long time. They obviously don't want to stay there long term anyway. Franchise. See, I think Hamilton's interesting because Hamilton's still a very C market. It's very close to Buffalo and Toronto. I don't think it would ever happen. Originally, people were talking about Hamilton because of the Cops Coliseum, but that's an old, outdated arena now. Like that arena was great at the time. We saw Canada Cups there, but I just think that the best arena not in the NHL is in Quebec City. They built an incredible building there, guys. Like I think it's the best arena not in the NHL, but maybe it would be the best in the NHL. And I know there's some great arenas, but this one is legit. And I believe it was built by Quebecer Media and anticipation that they were applying for an NHL franchise. The problem is the TV market. So Arizona is a top 10, top 7 TV market, and that helps the overall TV deal of the NHL teams. It helps them maintain the value because if you pull out that tier, it loses everybody money. So it's always beneficial to have an Arizona franchise. And I don't think they would ever approve a team leaving Arizona. I think that they would play in a substandard arena before they left Arizona. Owning Arizona right now is a license to lose $20 to $30 million a year. That's my understanding. Their cap right now is the floor. So they were instructed before this year, I believe, to be around $67 million. That's exactly where they are. Now you see the new management teams come in. They've got a really good GM. A friend of mine, David Ludwig's there, and we've asked him to be on the podcast. We'll see if we can get him on. And now this comes up. So it's going to be interesting. Where do they play next year? There's a lot of speculation. One is that they would play – I'm trying to think of the name of the facility, but let's see. There was talk of I lost it. Yeah, I think in Tempe there's a university there that they could play in that arena. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on. It's been crazy, but they've had not a lot of success. They haven't made the playoff. They've made it playoffs like once since 2012. I don't think did they make it once during the Rick Tocchet era? I would love to see Quebec. The first of all, I love those jerseys. The first NHL game I ever saw live was the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Quebec Nordiques, and it was right when the Wilf Paymont trade had been made, where Toronto sent Paymont to the Quebec Nordiques. They had the Stasny brothers, they had Michel Goulet, Dale Hunter. There was a great era there. They'll make up with jersey patches. I don't think so. Maybe that's a lot of money. I hope those go away. Johnny Golden, good morning, Johnny. Unfortunately, Coach Frenchy's having internet problems, and he was on the broadcast and dropped off. I don't know if he's still having that issue. All right, so we did want to rate GM today in Florida. If there's any questions you have, please ask it in the chat. Before we rate that, I did want to talk about the Franz Nielsen buyout. This was a terrible contract. And everybody that was a Detroit Red Wing fan knew this was a terrible contract. And this goes back to the Kenny Holland era. And, I realize he won a bunch of cups, but he had a lot of help doing that. And I think we've seen consistently that Ken Holland should not be allowed to sign free agents. And I think there's some contracts he just signed in Edmonton that, they're going to regret. So Franz Nielsen was always a pretty decent player for the New York Islanders. Like, he got 20 goals the year before his contract at 52 points, and he had 25 goals, so he had some good years. And a very good two-way center, typically kind of a number 2 center that would drop to number 3. So they signed him to this monster contract. And I say monster, let's see what the actual numbers were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So the length was a problem with no movement clause and then modified no movement clause. And it was 5.25. So the salary started out high, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, and started to drop later in the contract. But it's still a $5.2 million cap hit for a guy that was, it seemed pretty obvious he was on his last, he was kind of on the decline. He had one okay year, but this was just not the right move to get them back. This was supposed to be the replacement for Pavel Datsyuk. You can't replace Pavel Datsyuk with this. I mean, they had Stephen Weiss was another contract example where he signed Stephen Weiss. He never really plays for similar money, so I think he bought out the remainder of the Weiss contract and then put the money into Franz Nielsen. You were like, what is going on? I should just let it lie. Like, you weren't going to win a Stanley Cup. So Yzerman makes the decision, time to buy this out. I think there's only 1 year left on this. So he's buying out the final year. They'll save a little bit of money. He buys it out at probably what? I'd be curious what the buyout worked out to. Probably $2 million. They'll have a much smaller cap hit. Let's see. How do you buy out? There's a buyout tool. Oh, there it is. Is it in here? I don't know. We'd have to. Maybe it's in here. How do you buy this guy out? I can't figure it out. There was a button on here, I thought, but I can't see it. So I don't know what the buyout works out to be, but I think this is a great move by Stevie Yzerman. It's another move in the Yzer plan. He wasn't going to play this year. They've got guys like Rasmussen, Ridges step in, Joe Veleno. These guys have shown they can skate in the NHL level, and you don't need Franz Nielsen. He's not going to bring back Phil Bullough, which is good. It's time to move on from that. And this is just another opportunity for young players to take over. So I think it's a great move to get rid of them. Save a little bit of money. Don't have it in the coach's quiver of options to put into the system. Guaranteed, if Quebec City, Montreal won't be missing the playoffs anymore. Well, you know what? That was a great rivalry, one of the greatest ever. Nielsen benefited by his line mates for sure. $4.25 million buyout. Really? Why is it so much? There's only $3 million left in the contract and cash. So I don't know why that would be a $4 million buyout. Because if you... Okay, I'll take a look at that. That seems high to me. I'm not sure if that sounds wrong. It's on the main page. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know where it is. I don't know what happened to it. It used to be a tool under here, I thought. Trade machine, armchair GM. We won't spend a lot more time on this. I think we should move on. Oh, here we go. Buyout history. But there should be a fantasy tool of buyout entry board draft comparable with affiliates. You think it would be right here. Calculators. There we go. All right. So let's take a look because I'm just really curious what that number is. Interesting. He's not coming up. Unless I'm misspelling his name. Maybe he's already bought out. Interesting. I don't see it. Wonder why this is really not working out, guys. All right. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I think it's a good move to get rid of him. Yeah, that seems really high because there's only $3 million left on his contract. Yes, the cap hit is 5.2, and usually it's like 70% of the remaining value, and then they spread that out, the cap part out over 2 times the remainder of the balance. So I don't know, but you might be right because he's an older player, so maybe they had to give him more money, but that seems weird. Like, why wouldn't you just ride it out? If you only have to pay him $3 million, why would you give him 4.2? That doesn't make sense. All right, so let's talk about the Florida Panthers. So I think the Florida Panthers really are, we saw them improve quite a bit last year. We saw some great moves, I think, made by the incoming GM, Bill Zito. And Bill Zito comes over from Columbus Blue Jackets. Oh, there we go. Coach Frenchy's back in. Welcome back. How's your internet?
Everything's good here.
Our friend Johnny Golden said hello. He joined us. And
Johnny is, by the way, Michael, yeah, we have a few people sick from Johnny's another one got COVID, everything like that. John Lanham, he was another one also. But I was listening on my other computer what you said. Type is right. If you want to go to try and find out, always go to Cap Friendly.
Yeah, I was on there.
When you go to Cap Friendly.
When I went on Cap Friendly, Pierre, his name wouldn't come up under the buyout machine.
Yeah, you have to click on at the top, said buy out or something like that. I don't have it in front of me right now. Anyway, he have a contract at $6 million. He have $4.5 million out.
No.
And that saved $1.5 million for the Detroit Red Wings. And for 2 years, the second year, it's the same amount, but it dropped.
So
here you go. You got it right now.
So this is where it's so weird. So he only has 1 year left on the contract, Pierre.
Yeah.
His cap hit is 5.2, but the actual salary is 3. So I don't think that the right number is 4.2.
So what happening, Michael? It does not count the signing bonus.
Right. So then it's 1.5. You're saying the
buyout but on the AAV, they addition the total salary plus the signing bonus as the AAV.
Right.
That's what happened.
But that doesn't make sense that it would be a $4.2 million buyout.
No, but the point is on the he talked about the AAV. So the AAV is $4.5 million.
Oh, got it. Okay, that makes more sense. So the cash is a lot less, but the cap hit will also be a little bit less.
Yeah, that saved only $1,500 for the Detroit Red Wings, where his salary is really $6,000 on the balance. And they have a calculation, Michael, when you're 35 or 36 years old. I don't know what his age right now, but that's what happened.
37? Yeah, he's 37.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and it's weird. When you go up to the bio tool under the calculators, his name won't come up.
Okay. Well, I don't go to yeah.
It's weird. Like, so you see he's not even listed as the players you can buy out. And even if you change the date. So I don't know why. That's really weird. So what's today? The 20th of August. Maybe that's why. But he won't come up. It's really strange. All right, I tried. But what you're saying makes sense. All right, so we did want to talk about the Florida Panthers and the job that Bill Zito's done since coming in. Is this his third year, Pierre?
Who?
For Bill Zito of the Florida
Panthers? No,
Panthers?
it's only his second year.
It's only his second year.
Yeah.
So the first thing he did that was really smart, I thought, was he kept, obviously, Joel Quenneville. So there seemed to be no question as to whether Joel Quenneville was going to stay. In the first year, he kept players like Mike Hoffman and Dadonov. And then, so that's why are we sure it's not his third year?
No, he was not there he was not there for the Dadonov. What he did, Michael, he did not resign them. They let him go.
Right.
That's why.
I thought that they kept him for 1 year. So you think his immediate move was to get rid of him?
So he show up like in May 2020, example.
Okay.
And the contract for them was renewing on July 1st.
That makes sense. All right. So then I think that was the most eye-popping move where people were like, oh my God, you're giving up 70 goals. But I think he took a lot of input probably from the coach. Florida got a chance to win if goaltending is not disappointing. And I don't think they're going to disappoint.
No, he's right. It is the point. Like, if they perform the way they're supposed to perform, if they can get another solid defenseman, I think they will have a really a great chance about that.
So, he made, I think before this season, he made some really excellent moves. The one was to grab Carter Verhaeghe. He also signed Alex Wenberg, and Wenberg had a great year. He also picked up Brandon Montour during the year, which was in response, I think, more to the loss of Ekblad during the year. We also saw that I'm trying to think of how long has Dreger been there? Chris Dreger was in the system before, or he didn't bring Dreger, right?
No, he was in the system before, but what happened with him? He just showed up 2 years ago. So during the year of the COVID stop, he played only like 18 games, something like that.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So I thought he made a lot of those really good moves. He also brought in, what's the French Canadian player that came from Ottawa?
Anthony Duclair.
Duclair, that's it. So he brought in Anthony Duclair. It seemed like every move he made, Pierre, worked out really well for the most part. It was like this guy had the golden touch. He was bringing in players that weren't that expensive, that maybe were undervalued by other people. So he lets go the two big names in Hoffman and Dadonov. They go on, they have okay years. Dadonov struggles in Ottawa. Hoffman does okay in St. Louis, does what he does best. And everybody in Florida does really well. They play a very gritty style. And then at the end of the year, he makes another really interesting move. He grabs Sam Bennett. And Sam Bennett had been buried on the third line in Calgary. And Sam Bennett, if you know Sam Bennett since he's a young kid, like I watched him, he played with the Toronto Marlies with Connor McDavid. They were line mates. And you always knew Sam Bennett and he played in the OHL and was known as, hey, this is the next Doug Gilmour, because he's not a big player, but he's got like grit and tenacity and always a very good playoff performer. And we see he came over and he did a bang up job for Florida. And you're like, oh my God, is this the team's second line center? So overall, they have is this their best season ever? Did they ever have a better season than this?
If they have a better season?
I don't think so, right?
And NHL?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a better year, but
they have another better year.
Oh yeah, they won they won all the way to the Stanley Cup one time.
But they weren't very good that time. If you look at that team, they were about a 500 team. So
if you look about a couple of years, they have, I think at the beginning, the first 7-8 years, they have a 1 or 2 year that was pretty good. 96 with Pavel Bure, everything like that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, because I have a feeling that
I just want to mention to you, Chris Stryger was signed as a free agent in 2018.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. I thought he was there before. So farm is deep as well, which is good because they don't have a draft pick until the third round. Good point. They've traded away all their picks. However, if we look at this lineup, he just stole Sam Reinhart from the Buffalo Sabres. And then he signed Sam Reinhart to a very favorable contract, Pierre.
I have to give you right about this, Michael. I have a percentage on, because it's 56 game, right? We don't know if he would be worse or better, but they have a 705 where they are better. The second best year is on the 15-16 with 628 percentage winning, and then they have to go under 600. So just give you an idea about that one over there. When they lost, Michael, on the Stanley Cup, like you mentioned, it was not too bad. It was 561, so it was not
a little above 500.
Yeah.
Is that like 6 games above 500? Were they like?
Well, it's about 10 point more.
Okay, and that's Roger Nielsen, right?
Yep.
Was the coach then?
No, Don McLean.
Oh, it was Doug McLean.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Roger Nielsen. I guess not. So he got a rank last year as like, now they didn't get to play 82 games and it was interdivisional. So there's probably some extra points that they got there because of that. But going into the season, you've got to say, like, if everybody performs the way you would expect, We saw Owen Tippett get integrated into the lineup. He has a lot of potential. Carter Verhaeghe had a bang-up year. They re-signed him also for a very favorable contract with the extension. So he gets 3 additional years after this one at 4.16. We've seen good contributions from Petrano, Duclair, who inks finally a little bit of a long-term deal. Sam Bennett, I know some people thought this was a little high, and maybe it was a little higher than I thought, but not much. I kind of thought they would get him 3.8. I think Sam Bennett's going to have a great year. He's shown that if you play him every day and you put him in a position where you're trusting him, he's going to be really important.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, Michael, you're right, but the only thing is different for me is because he got 2 years over the UFA contract size. So when you attach a contract with the UFA side, you have to increase the salary of the players because honestly, he's losing 2 years where he can become a free agent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, we've got this move where we don't talk about this a lot, but I think this worked out very well for them. Getting Patrick Hornqvist, and he gets 14 goals and 18 assists in 44 games. So he basically matches his prior year production with 8 fewer games. And I think the biggest thing for him is the leadership and the toughness in front of the net.
But I think to confirm what you just said, Michael, is more effect like Panthers didn't have that kind of player can play that role. And so that's what the value of Orvis, because really this is the first really big move of Bill Zito as the manager for the Panthers about the trade, everything like that. So, and then to slide with that, Mike Madison has a big contract where it was not worth it. It was a bad contract to give to him. I think it was like an amazing, great performance of the manager Zito on that one over there. So the salary gap goes lower, and they get an amazing, great hockey player.
Oh, Brad Marchand, I'm back. I had to go to get breakfast. I'm figuring out our lines right now for a house league. Hornqvist gets clutch goals. He goes to where the hard goals are, and that's what you got to really like about him. Yep. So overall, you've got to love this. He also brought in Forsling. I would think that this was on the recommendation of Joel Quenneville, who coached him in Chicago. So that
So exactly about that. He was on the waiver, so that's pretty cool what Quenneville picked it up MO there. This is a really, really good turnover for the Florida Panthers because he become the top 4 where nobody expect about that. He's at 2.6, Michael. It's below because Mike Bergevin he did a really great interview, Michael, about he explained if you have your team player, Michael, you have 20 players, you have 4 lines, 6D, 2 goaltender, right? And when you attach him, it was really was great. So your first line, left winger, center, right wing. So they put on the board money attached, not with the name, with the position. So he would say to you, the first defenseman should be about $6, $7, $8 million. The second defenseman should be about 4, 5, 6, 7, and then he go all the way like that. So it was pretty amazing when he said that. He said, if you can have defense number 3 and 4 below $4 million, you should have a good salary cap, pretty good overall. But when you go over that, right, what it hurt you. So that was a great explanation about that. And Forsling, Michael, at 2.76, I think is a great deal over there. The only thing on the defensive they have right now is too much. It's a Nutivara, where it's a debt, and a debt at 2.7 is too much, and they are stuck with him for 1 more year.
But it's not like he's a decent defenseman. He's not top 6, obviously, or top. I think he's kind of like a 5-6, right? We wish he could be better because I think he can be a better asset for the Florida. But like Enotap said earlier, I wish they have another 3rd, 4th defenseman. I think he could do that role, but he does not bring that kind of the quality of hockey for John Quenneville so far. For sure. So overall, you've got to look at this and say, man, they had a great year. I don't know if they'll play 700 hockey, but again, he's made some really aggressive moves, and I think he's made like economical moves. And we know that they've got a rich owner, but they don't do amazing at the gate all the time. So it's important that, well, maybe it's not important. This, I hope, happens, Pierre, and I don't know what to say about it. Noah Juleson is very capable, should be a top 4 defenseman in the NHL for the Montreal Canadiens. But the problem with Noah, we know, is he got the puck to the eye in the AHL, and it's really caused a lot of problems and delayed his development. So I love Noah. Noah was the captain for the Everett Silvertips. He played for Team Canada at the World Juniors. He is a great teammate. He's a leader. He's got a little bit of offensive ability, and he's very persistent and good defensively. You know, he can hit you. He can crush you in the corner a little bit. Good morning, Caden Jenkins. Thank you for joining us.
The problem about that, Michael Johnson, I will go to say to you, and I would answer to Tap. I don't think so. He will step up, and I believe he become. I could be wrong, and hopefully he make me wrong. A player where he is between the bubble. I call him like a bubble player where he can play no consistency in the NHL, and then he's really, really good on American Hockey League. Unfortunately, because now he's still young, and defenseman Michael, Michael gave an idea what this really can happen to Noah. Not next year. I want to see Noah in 2 years or in 2 and 3 years. That's what give you an idea really if he can make it full time. But again, I think this year is another year where he's going to be in the bubble area where he may be back in the American Hockey League. The depth right now is not deep on the defense, so he maybe be on the roster at the end. But again, I feel like, because we don't talk about this, Michael, they have a Connaughton, you don't mention, he's also as the defenseman over there. So maybe send back Johansson and then keep Kevin Connaughton for the experience, the leadership, blah, blah, blah. But I think about that one over there. To answer for another tap, look, Bennett's going to be the second center between Huberdeau. And the only thing you have that website, Michael, is because it's not right. Their lineup is not great. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to use Lundell third center. They're not going to use Orvis fourth line winger. I don't believe on that one over there. So
I think he moves up to the top 2 lines. I could see Duclair bouncing around the third. But you got to think they got a really deep right side, like Sam Reinhart, Duclair, Tippett, and Hornqvist.
Oh, the right side is it's amazing over there, right? They have that one over there. Lundell can answer that quality of the third center over there, and then you don't have Joe Thornton inside that lineup. At some point, Thornton, you don't have Lundberg inside that lineup. You don't have Leo Steranin right there. So you have a lot of possibility to get those kind of defensive players over there. So I'm doing well, Keaton. What about you? How's Calgary?
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. So I think that there's some room there to look at a different lineup. But I think what it emphasizes, Pierre, is how deep that lineup is. They have so many options, and players could play on so many different lines.
Yeah, that's what after you reevaluate Joe Thornton's signature, I'm not sure at the end it was a great one or not, because the and then right now we didn't mention Tarasenko. We did not talk about Maxime Mamin over there also, and we don't talk about Iponiemi. So we talk about an extra 3 player, Michael, and all 3 can play in the lineup tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So they have a lot of depth. They have Zach Dalpe. And then, down in the prospect, you talk about Grigori Denisenko, Lundell, Heponiemi. I mean, to me, all 3 of those guys are capable of playing in the NHL.
All 3 right now, they're going to be in the lineup right there. So that gives you an idea how deep they are on that moment over there. So, and they all 3 play on the left side at some point. So, but Derisenko play on the right wing, but they use him. But one of the 3 can then, you did not mention also Joe Thornton on that lineup where he's a left wing. About that one there. The problem in our tap is if you move Bennett on the left side, you don't have no center after that. The only thing you can do, Michael, is this part, but again, that will not helping them is Bennett have to be in the third line. It's not helping. So
I don't like Bennett on the wing, Pierre. I think he's a much better center. He is the type of guy where if a coach like Joel Quenneville says, I need you, he'll go, yeah, and he'll go do it. If you're a coach, you want Sam Bennett playing in the middle because he'll do everything you want. And I think he's one of those guys where if you're doubting him, he gets like upset and depressed and he'll fall back until it's time for him to find that opportunity. And if you push him or you say, hey, he's that type of character player. And I think
here's how you evaluate the players sometimes. Like Bennett, what is better as a center, Michael? Because as a center, you are more involved with the play. So break out, you have to go low. You have to protect the zone coverage. You have to be on the right position for a turnover, breakout, everything like that. So his situation on the ice or his role, it's more involved. And I think it's a better fit for him as a winger where you're a little bit more off and you have to wait or everything like that. So to be him always in and out and, running after everything, I think that put him more the what he is at the end of the day. So for me, I think he's better as a center. Now, the best role, to be honest with you, for what he did so far in NHL, I think he should be third center. Now, can he become a second center? We're going to see this year.
I think he's a second. Yeah, I think he's always been doubted in Calgary, and I don't know why that is.
But my point, Michael, he never proved it until the last season with Florida and 15 game, whatever it was, 10 game, right? But my point is like he never proved it before. He's a 50 point per year in NHL.
He's always been third line in Calgary, and they never gave him a sniff above that. So I think
I'm agree. He can become a second. I don't say he cannot. I just said right now is like you have to prove to the Florida Panthers he's a second center. That's what he needs to step up to be sure he can bring 50 points, everything like that. Now, of course, when you play with Huberdeau, that helped a little bit. But I don't say he has the potential to become a second center. I'm not worried about Sam Reinhart, right? But just like Bennett is just not that. He didn't did it yet. That's my point.
Yeah, I have no worry about Sam. I think I've watched him a long time. And if you look at the guys that are, Sam Bennett and Sam Reinhart were in the same draft. And I think there was a lot of question even at that time, like which one of these guys is better. So I think that he'll have no problem. I think you're in really good shape. And I bet this contract turns out really great as long as he's healthy. And that's always the X factor, right? Because I don't think there's a question of whether he'll work hard. And I don't think there's a question if he'll bring it every game. And where it always shows that to me, Pierre, is the playoffs. Because regardless, when this guy gets in the playoffs, he's money. And I think
he performed well the last 3 years as the playoff, 5.5, 8 and 10, and 5 and 5 again. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying he's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like this move. I think
his friend Michael is in Calgary. He have an average of 14 minutes per game. Yes, last year with Florida, he played 20 minutes per game.
Right. That's the thing, and that's always been he's consistently said, I want more ice time. I want to play. I want to contribute. And they have this guy Backlund, and they always thought he was better than him. Joseph Ferreira joined us, Pierre.
18-minute Michael last season with Florida during the regular season, and he played an average of 13 minutes the year before, but 13 minutes in Calgary this year. So to give you an idea, 5 minutes or more per game, Michael, you're going to have some point for sure.
So this is always a good question. Why would you not want to keep Barkov with Huberdeau?
It's easy. You balance your lineup. You completely balance your lineup. It's the same thing I would say to you. Why they don't put Nylander with Matthews and Marner is because you try to balance more your lineup with that situation over there. When they're losing at some point where they are behind or anything like that, they will bring Huberdeau with Barkov. The second thing, Michael, a lot of coach, they have a feeling. I said it's a coaching with feeling. So what you see is after one period, they know if some player don't get it, he don't have it. And then they make some modifications during the game. And CANVA don't hesitate to do that. But for me, if I have a choice, I will split. That's why in Edmonton, they have a problem because they don't have enough power and they have to put sometimes
Draisaitl and
Russell McDavid. But the reality, Malkin, Crosby not together, and Dressel and McDavid not together. Tavares with Matthews not together is all the way. And then I think that's good for them to split both of them. And the kid, he can do that, Michael, because Ver-AE have an amazing great year as a left wing with Barkov, right?
Absolutely.
And Huberdeau did well with Bennett after he
Yep.
came with that part over there. So it's a great question, by the way. But as a coach, you try to split your best differently to have a better line, because one line can be shut down if your best scorer are on the same line, and then you don't have anything after that.
For sure. Yeah, and I think McDavid is more lethal than anybody, but Draisaitl is a superstar. I mean, there's no way around it. Draisaitl is absolutely a top 6 NHL player. Like, this guy is he's so good.
I'll be honest with you, Michael. McDavid, Kisharov. I would put right now Tressel and Von McKinnon.
It's very close. I mean, if you watch this guy game in, game out, he plays the wing, he plays center, and all in the same game. He plays
2 years ago, Michael, he was the best player in NHL.
He's a horse. He's absolutely a horse. Some of that helps that he's with McDavid, but when you watch him in the game, you're like, this guy controls the play. Nobody's getting the puck off him, Pierre. And he's going to win every single battle. Yep. He's a big man.
Joseph Ferreira in the house tonight, this morning. But again, for me, Dressel 2 years ago was the best player. Last year, McDavid completely destroyed the league. But, you know, Dressel for me was better to McKinnon overall last season.
Yeah, McKinnon had a rough start. And I think it's a very fair comparison, because for me, man, like, sometimes he's by far the best guy.
Yeah. No, but when you said top 6, I would qualify at least top 4.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, he's such a phenomenal player.
And they're on the same boat, right? McKinnon, Dressel, McDavid, a little bit. And, you know what I mean? You have to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, those players, I think they are no shy to put Dressel the top there.
Nope. And if you have him 1-2 punch, or if you have him on the top line, doesn't matter. And what you'll find a lot here is, which is interesting, he gets shifted with the 4th line.
Yeah.
So like, they give him a lot of ice time. Just quickly, I don't know much about their draft pick this year, Samoskevich. I'm not sure what his real potential is.
Really great. It could be a little bit lower, honestly. What the problem with Samoskevich, Michael, is this part. It's another one where he was stuck in the ladder and the steal, because you have over there Coronetto, you have over there Farrell, right? So he was playing with them also. But again, I think his quality of hockey player, he could be at the top 20 in that prospect. So it's a great hockey player. So I think it will be interesting to get him over there. The second pick, Evan knows. You know, he came for a defenseman for the Quebec Rampart. Good shot, good skater, but still have to work on the physicality of his game, honestly. And then, you know, when you could become 120, 152, you never know what could happen over there. And the year before that, I think Lundell is really where their best player and the draft pick on 2020, to be honest with you guys. Would be interesting. I did not follow too much Heineman in Sweden.
I think.
What? Sorry.
Sorry about that. I have to go, unfortunately.
I
didn't realize we're over, but I'll let you keep talking about it.
Yeah, so no problem. And then after that, 2019, you got Spencer Knight, and College Canuck. He still not produced the level he was play overall. But again, the problem going to get everybody else is because now Florida is going to become a great team in NHL. For their draft is going to be low, and maybe at the trade deadline they will have to trade their first round pick. I think they already did for the upcoming season. They trade their second round pick, I believe. So that's what's happening for them. So that's happened when you build a great team like them. You trade you trade that. But they still have a couple of great prospect. I'm doing a video about the 50 top prospect in NHL, and Florida have like 3 of them, 2 of them at least, maybe 3 on the top 50. So they still have a lot of great hockey player, and they're as a prospect for sure to helping that team. Look, we talk about a team can go all the way this year. I have a lot of expectation, big expectation for that team. Will be interesting. The division is going to be strong with Tampa, Montreal, Boston, and Toronto. Will be interesting. Who is going to make the playoff? This is going to be a battle of 82 times, to be honest with you. So it will happen about that one over there. I can stay a little bit longer. If you have any question you want to put in that chat, that would be great. If not, we're going to be back tonight at 9 o'clock tonight. Tonight, we don't have a lot of news. We're going to talk about, of course, a long quiz a little bit. I just make a video. If you have a chance to jump in on the video on the YouTube channel about Henrik Lundqvist, I talk about his career in 5 minutes, his stat, everything like that. And then finally, tonight we're going to go, it's called Yes or No. Well, yes or no, or right or false. So it's a 10 question I ask you. You have to tell me if it's happened or not happened. So that happened tonight. The show tonight, we are the first time go to QA 9:45. You are available to become to jump live with me from 15 minutes 9:45 to 10 o'clock before we start the Frenchy quiz. And that's what's happening for tonight. We are back again Saturday night, and we are off Sunday, and we're back again. Like you said, it's an off-season hockey NHL overall. We don't have a lot of things around the league. What's going on? We're still waiting for the new calendars. We're still waiting for a couple of RFA happening. And so at that time, I'm building the flashback. I'm building fantasy hockey, everything like that. So that's what's happening around the Hockey Nation Live show. I still wait. If you have anything you want to mention to me, or have any question you have, it's time to do it before I go. I was just checking my information about all the get it. We have a breaking news. The Calgary Flames signed RFA Nikita Zadorov for a 1-year deal. It's happening at that moment. Like, listen, guys, I got this like 1 minute ago. So talk about news we provide to you all the time. That's what's happening. A 3.75 AAV per year. So that's confirmed right now. I got it in front of me. So that's the big news we got right now in NHL. It's happened 2 minutes ago. So just give you an idea. Let me check if we have other things go around the league. We heard like the Nashville Predators they offer a 4 or 6 year to Egg Arm. I think it's a 4 years at $6 million, but it's not confirmed yet by the Nashville Predator this morning. So sorry about that. I'm getting all the information for the Zadorov. When I'm getting information in the guy, I'm getting about 50 tweet. So that's what's happening, to be honest with you. But so much more there with results. So yeah. Anything else you want to comment before we go? Thanks again for everybody watching. Thanks again for an amazing, great day today. And of course, we thanks Michael Devellano to helping us today. And don't forget to click on the likes. I wish you an amazing, great Friday, a blessing Friday. Have an amazing, great weekend. If not, don't forget tonight, 9 o'clock with the Power Play show with Cold Frenchy.